Okay, so recently it seems like Bao the Whale has been kind of in the news once again for some pretty interesting things, right? And essentially, if you guys don't know, there's been a huge trend once again of a VTuber slash IRL thing that's going around, which I don't think Bao really got involved in too much in the sense of like she's kind of copying the trend, but there's been a lot of VTubers in general that have been showing their IRL selves on Twitter thanks to that trend, and also thanks to other things as well. And there's been a big kind of boom in VTubers that also do either IRL content or just show their IRL selves, right? There's many that have started to transition to that, started to face reveal, and started to essentially do that kind of content too. Now again, it seems like that might also be the case with Bao, as a post actually blew up recently of her literally just face revealing, just on a random day, saying face reveal, jump scare, and yeah, she ended up showing her face, right? And lots of people have been going crazy over this for different reasons. Obviously, some not so happy, some happy. We'll go over the not so happy reasons for the different reasons in a minute. But obviously, lots of people have been gassing her up, saying, I don't know how I ended up here, saying gulps, it's a holy you babe. So obviously, lots of people going crazy over her looks, right? And again, I do think she looks good. And of course, it's one of those things where a lot of people say that, VTubers look bad behind the model. But a lot of the time, it ends up being the opposite. They end up looking good. And it's just like, why are you using a VTuber model? That tends to be the case, 9 times out of 10. Well, I say 9 times out of 10. Actually, to be fair, there's a lot of VTubers out there. Maybe not so much. But in terms of the bigger ones, I would say, in terms of the smaller group of the bigger VTubers, I would say a lot of them tend to look, pretty good without the model anyways, right? So yeah, obviously a lot of people have been kind of commenting on that, saying like, oh, they're what you call it? Saying VTubers not beating the beautifuls, how IRL allegations, saying Bao be gorgeous, let's see from Tricky Virus, saying holy, saying, okay, I'm not going to say that one, say Bao is pretty and been working on her fitness, I'm proud of that. And yeah, she's been working on that kind of stuff. I've seen some in the post, she's been working on fitness and things, which is great. But yeah, of course, this is a big thing that has been going around of VTubers, as I said, showing their faces and, turning up to events IRL and things. And to be fair, Bao has been someone that has shown most of herself, over the past couple of years or so. It's just more so like this part of her face. Like she's always wore like a mask or like covered her face with like something like in editing or something like that. So again, like you've always like seen her, but like not like fully like this, right? And it's just like randomly decided to drop it one day. But of course, as well, there has been the backlash which has come from this, right? And a lot of people, it is from people that are still angry at her over the previous dramas and things like that. For example, the whole misandrous stuff and, previous situations. Obviously, lots of people saying, never thought I'd see someone who is flatter than Fillion. I mean, again, that's pretty crazy. Because they got damn roasted, even Pancake is more plum, which again, I mean, of course, as a face reveal goes, there's always going to be comments about your, kind of appearances and whatever. That's just kind of how it goes, right? People are just going to hate you because you've shown your face, not necessarily because you look bad or anything like that. It's just like people are going to find any small thing that they can find and, make a comment on it, right? But of course, it continues saying, it's the misandrist flesh tuber blank. It's not a face reveal. You're posting your entire body constantly. You just took off the medical mask, which obviously some people believe that essentially it's like, you haven't really like revealed anything so much. You just kind of revealed your mouth. That's essentially, it's kind of like a mouth reveal, which to be fair, I think is more accurate. But to be honest, I'm not one to get like, mixed up in semantics and everything like that. Who really cares? I don't really care too much, right? So she's pretty on the outside, but her heart is less than attractive. Say mad because mogged. Say misandrist of words for engagement bait. But inside she prays to every deity in history that the man she relies on not to starve doesn't get fed up with her. Saying went to her profile, saw a single clip, and couldn't stand the retarded high-pitched voice that all VTubers pretend to have for some reason. So obviously lots of people unhappy with her voice or something. Which again, I do think is interesting, right? Of course, again, there's been a lot of drama and stuff, which I think you are very much within your right to be not so happy about, right? You're very much, in your right to not watch Bao anymore, or maybe dislike her or whatever. Again, it all coming down to like posting on her kind of socials and stuff. I don't know if that's really the best move. I think like to be like, hey, I don't really like what has happened over the past couple of months or so. I think that's kind of like where you could leave it at, and maybe just like leave it at that. But again, obviously some people want to comment on whatever, that's just how Twitter is. But yeah, obviously some people as well are not so much going after like previous drama and things like that, but also unhappy about the whole VTuber IRL trend. People saying, look, the trend of VTuber versus IRL is pretty stupid. Why even destroy the purpose of being a VTuber? People have perceived you as that character, but revealing your face kind of destroys that character. Which has been a big debate before this Bao stuff had come out, by the way. I've been seeing murmurs of it come up on my Twitter literally like yesterday and the day before. People have been talking about this and, the amount of people that show their face now that are VTubers, and are they really classed as VTubers if they do this, right? And a lot of people worried about the future of VTubing if a lot of people just start doing, face content, right? Because that just doesn't really make you a VTuber anymore. That's what, people have been arguing, right? And a lot of you say a lot of large EN VTubers are theater kids. IMouse even said so herself, as she herself is one. Saying, wow, so she fits the modern American liberal woman trend. Saying she'll have an OF or something in no time. That's why. As Bao was a singer before VTubing. People like her, I give a pass for being a mix of IRL and VTuber because she was pretty popular beforehand. It bothers me more when someone who started their career online as a VTuber but transitioned to IRL content to get OF or fancy subscribers. So some people, more so angry at VTubers that, essentially go IRL to make that kind of content, right? And that's the only reason why they do it. Now, again, I don't think Bao's doing that, right? I don't think that's something that she's considered, right? But again, maybe I'll be surprised in a couple of days' time, but I doubt it, right? Obviously she's never really given any indication of that. I know she does have a page, but I don't think she'll be doing like IRL content, right? In the sense of like actual IRL content. I think there's a little bit of a difference there, right? But yeah, I think it is pretty interesting, right? Actually, yeah, no, it does seem like she does have a page like that where she does that kind of content and stuff. So again, I don't know, right? Of course, it mainly seems to be just like surrounding a VTuber model and stuff like that, though. So I think that is kind of the extent of it, but maybe it could branch out into more in the future. I think people are just going to be keeping an eye on that because, as I said, people mostly dislike whenever people transition to IRL from a VTuber or whatever to do that kind of content, because yeah, it kind of like paints a picture about VTubers and stuff like that, which I can kind of understand, right? But of course, yeah, lots of people have been going crazy saying, and people say VTubers are ugly IRL, but Bao is also far from that. Obviously, we covered that one. As in Bao, with cat girls who plan to rule the world. So yeah, obviously a lot of people just kind of praising her and essentially just going crazy over her looks, right? Saying, I'm not really a VTuber person, but since when has VTubers shifted to being flesh tubers? Which yeah, obviously that is the debate that has been going around, right? I don't know what comments are on that, because e-girls infiltrated the space when it became trendy. Now they're doing what they've always done, just with a VTuber model. Since always, did you really not know there are people controlling the VTubers? I mean, yeah, I guess so, right? Me wish I could be as beautiful. Say, how lies can't be real. So some people saying, please stick to 2D, bud. That's crazy. Damn, just now, I'll say it again. VTubers are gorgeous. So again, obviously some people saying that she blows. I mean, yeah, of course, people are still not so happy with her over certain stuff, but again, you can see it's kind of like a mixed reaction at the moment. A lot of people going crazy. Some people, saying that she looks bad. Some people unhappy at the, VTuber to IRL kind of, I guess, pipeline, if you would call it that, that has been kind of trending recently. Some people not so happy about, yeah, again, the previous drama and things like that with Bao. So again, it is a whole mixing bag of different reactions to this post. And, if you're saying, is this the VTuber grift finally over? Which again, is interesting. So again, as I said, it's mixed. You guys can make up your own opinion on everything that's been going on, because I do think it is a pretty interesting reaction to a face reveal. But to be fair, most face reveals do tend to kind of have a mixed reaction anyways. If, regardless of like previous drama or anything like that, usually people, they'll get called ugly or whatever on a thing, which again, even if they're not, right, they could be like the most like amazing looking person in the world and they would still get a comment saying like mid or something like that, right? Which I think is pretty funny. But again, yeah, that's essentially all there is for this situation. If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazo, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.